We're coming up on almost a year now since the Milwaukee Bucks were sold, and the new owners announced their intent to build a new arena in downtown Milwaukee. But we still don't know exactly how the arena will be built or even its specific location. The Bucks ownership group has pledged $250 million toward the arena. In February, Governor Walker unveiled a plan for the state to take out $220 million in bonds to help build it. But a top state lawmaker recently said that plan may be all but dead. So where does this stand? We're asking Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce President Tim Sheehy, who has been one of the leading proponents of a new arena in downtown Milwaukee. It's good to have you back on the program.
Good to be here, Mike.
So where do we stand right now? Is this project moving along? Is it in trouble? Give me your assessment.
Yeah, we stand in the middle of a clash of ideas that are part of a democracy. And so I think we're making good progress. There needs to be a lot more clarity on the details, and you outlined some of those. Where specifically is the arena going to be? Although I think it's the worst kept secret in Milwaukee. It's going to be north of where the Bradley Center is. What's it going to cost, and how is it going to be funded? And I think as those details play out, and they need to play out publicly, I think people are going to get really excited about the opportunity.
About 2 weeks ago, you said they needed to be played out in the next 2 weeks. Well, we're 2 weeks later.
Right.
We still don't have those details. What's the holdup here?
The holdup is it's a complex project, and I think that's good for Milwaukee because this is more than just an arena. This is an investment that I think is going to engender catalytic development around the arena. Those plans are long-term, they're complex, and I think right now the team is working with the city to lay out what those plans are. And when people see that, I think they're going to see the payback that comes from investing in an arena.
How soon do you think we'll have clarity, as you refer to it?
Again, I've run over this deadline before, so I may be at risk of running over it again. But Joint Finance starts its work mid-April. They've got about 6 weeks to do their work. So I would say in the next 20 to 30 days, we need to get much more public about what the plan is so Joint Finance has something to react to.
You've had Republican leadership in the legislature say, we don't see $220 million in bonds. The Bucks say we'd still like that to be the amount. What if it's 100 or 150? Can this project get done with that kind of lesser state contribution?
Well, I don't know if the contribution is less from the state or it's a different way to pay for it, but there's a real payback to the state for this. The state's going to collect over the next 20 years $200 million from the existing revenue stream and another $400 as the player payroll goes up. So there's revenue at stake here, but there's revenue that the state could put in it. And you haven't seen yet the city and county, and they're going to participate. So what we need to do is get all those players in a room, figure out what it's going to cost, and start chipping away at a plan to do it. And I think that's very doable and possible.
Doable and possible. Is there any chance this might not happen as this does drag on, as lawmakers up north hear from constituents about other priorities that they may have? Is there a danger that this thing somehow begins to have the wind sort of sucked out of it?
Yeah, this is a democracy, so there's always a danger we make a different decision than the path we're on. But what I hear right now is everybody focused on how to get it done. Clash of ideas about how to do that, but nobody's sitting on the sidelines saying we shouldn't do it, bad idea. The leadership is all trying to figure out how to get it done, and that leaves me with a very positive feeling about this.
Do you expect the leadership, including the Bucks owners, the Bucks president, to be making trips back and forth to Madison to meet individually with lawmakers to make the case for why this is needed, or is that something they're just not willing to do?
No, they need to do that. They have been doing that, but what we need to do is get the leadership in a room to come up with a plan so we can start selling a plan. We're answering questions right now. We need to move to the point where there's a visible plan that people see and you can start selling it.
Is the deadline for having something in the ground firm, or is the NBA, based on your understanding of this process, given people a little wiggle room? If you think you're making progress, is there that sort of flexibility in this?
You know, here's where there's no wiggle room for Milwaukee and Wisconsin. The Bucks lease is up in 2017. Every day we move past that date without a team signed to a long-term lease, we're at risk. And so we want to make sure that as close to 2017 as possible, we know that there are shovels in the ground, there's a new arena going up, and the team is signed to a long-term lease. That's what we don't want to do, is work on borrowed time after 2017.
Tim Sheehy is the president of the Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce. Good to have you back on the program.
Good to be here.
Thanks. A powerful state lawmaker has shot down another one of Governor Walker's budget plans, that to move some people on senior care to Medicare Part D. You can keep up with that and other developments on the Budget blog, written by our editorial partner, WizPolitics.com. Coming up next, the racial disparity in state employment.